Hey, I'm Jake Panisevich, and this is Yoga for Weight Loss. And if you're after weight loss, what you want to remember is that it is both a mental game as much as it is a physical endeavor. And I think it's important to have both. And that's what yoga gives you. It's a mentality that's important. You need that. But what you do really matters. Okay, so you need both. And yoga gives you both. Come onto your mat. And take a comfortable seat. You'd sit on your calves, on your knees here. It's called Vadra Asana. You sit any way that's comfortable. You just close your eyes, turn to your breath. Okay, and take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Twice more like that. Deep breath in. And exhale out your mouth. Okay, once more, your biggest breath all day in through the nose. Take a long breath out your mouth. And relax your jaw. Let your lips softly come to touch. Engage your yoga breath, so it's deep breaths in and out through your nose. And one thing that yoga teaches you is to pause and respond rather than react. And just bring your palms to touch at your center and bow your face down towards your heart. Release your hands into your lap, lift your chin, and blink your eyes open. So here we go, tabletop, please. Hands and knees. You line yourself up with your wrists straight across and under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And inhale, arch your back, look forward. And exhale, round your spine. Look towards your navel. And a couple rounds like that. And just deepening your breath. And slowing down your movement with your breath. You're always attuned to this breath. And this is a way to govern your decisions as you move forward in your practice and even off your mat. And with your next in-breath, find a neutral spine and pelvis. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back for a down dog. Okay, so you slide your feet back another 2 to 3 inches from tabletop. Look at your feet. Make sure they're at least hips width apart, 3 to 4 inches apart. And bend both knees quite a bit, about halfway towards the floor. Widen your knees as wide as your feet. Get your knees bent, flatten your hands, push your arms straight, get your hips to lift up. Should only feel good on your back, so much as it feels like a release in your low back, you start to stretch your legs towards straight. Okay, inhale, come forward for a plank. Okay, wrists right under your shoulders if you need to adjust. And exhale, low plank. Okay, lower down to the mat for cobra. Point your feet, pull your chest forward. Enough bend in your elbows to keep your shoulders back. Exhale, roll over your knees. Adjust your hands so they're straight. Okay, for down dog. Spread your fingers wide. Flatten the entire perimeter of your hands. Push your arms straight. Lift your hips up. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, step or walk to the top of your mat. You bring your feet as wide as you need to step it forward. And bow at the top. Bend your knees enough to touch the floor. Okay, feet at least hips width apart. Feet straight. Inhale, lift halfway up, legs straight. Hands on your hips, shoulders back. Come up and stand. Okay, feet hips width apart. Bend both knees deeply. Hands on your thighs. Sit heavy, weight back in your heels, hips back, and reach your arms up. Exhale, sit down. Keep your chin lifted, weight in your heels. Okay, inhale, press your feet down to straighten your legs, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Touch the floor in front of you, bend your knees enough to touch. Okay, inhale, shift weight into your right foot, step your left foot way back for a lunge. Okay, bend your front knee over your ankle. Make sure your back foot is vertical. And straighten your back leg. And inhale, twist. Reach your right arm up. Okay, hop up onto your left fingertips. If you aren't already, keep that back leg strong. Turn your chest to the right. Okay, right knee bends right over your ankle. Exhale, hands to the mat. Good, step it forward. You can do one big step or a couple steps. And switch sides, left foot forward, right foot way back for lunge. Okay, bend your left knee deeply over your ankle. Back foot's vertical. Okay, hop up onto your right fingertips and twist. Left arm reaches up. Power up your back leg. Root your left heel heavy. Turn your chest towards the ceiling. Okay, look up if it doesn't hurt your neck. Okay, exhale. Lower your left hand down. You're going to step back for a down dog. Okay, down dog. Arms steady. Inhale, come forward for plank. Legs straight. Plank shape the whole way down. For low plank, keep your shoulders lifted. Lower your hips. For cobra, point your feet. Slide your chest forward as you come up. Okay, exhale, roll over the knees. Adjust your hands so they're straight. Okay, down dog. Okay, again, enough bend in your knees in down dog to get your low back to lift. Okay, and inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway up. Hands on your hips, shoulders back. And come up and stand. Okay, feet hips width apart. Bend your knees deeply. Hands on your thighs. Rest your right forearm across your thighs. So your knees are as wide as your feet. Your right elbow's on your right thigh. Right hand is across your left thigh. Turn your chest left. Reach your left arm up. Okay, as you twist here, watch this right knee is going to want to swing forward. Set it back. Okay, second side. Left forearm across your thighs. Reach your right arm up. Okay, so watch that renegade left knee. Set it back. Even with your right. Okay, both arms up. Straighten your legs. Weight in your heels. Exhale, bow forward. Touch the floor. Okay, bend your knees enough to touch. Okay, inhale, shift weight into your right foot. Step your left foot way back. For lunge, lower your back knee super gently. Wiggle your right foot to the right edge of your mat. You're going to turn your right foot at a diagonal to the right. And make sure your right knee points the same direction as your foot. And give it a few breaths for your hips to open. You point your back foot and pat up your knee if you need to clear the knee if it gets it all cranky. And give it a few breaths for your hips to open. Yeah, you literally pause, turn to your breath, and then move forward in a way that makes sense for you, that honors you. Okay, as far as that right knee doesn't turn in, you bend your elbows in. Eventually you come onto your forearms, but if that right knee turns in, just stay tall. Root your right heel to open your right hip deeply. You should feel that right hip smoke. Okay, come on up. Tuck your back toes under. Okay, wiggle your right foot towards the center of your mat. Okay, lift your back knee up off the floor. You can give it a couple steps or one big step. Left foot forward, right foot way back for lunge. Okay, wiggle that back foot back enough. It's vertical. And lower your back knee super gently. Point your back foot, pat up your knee as you need. You wiggle your left foot to the left edge of your mat. Turn your left foot at a diagonal left. And just make sure your left knee points the same direction as your foot. And give it a few breaths for your hips to open. So far as that left knee doesn't turn in, you bend your elbows. And only go so far as that left knee stays aligned. Eventually, forearms to the floor. Root your left heel heavy. Set your left hip back. Okay, come on up. Okay, you're going to slide this leg back for tabletop. Yeah, step it back. Replace your hands so they're straight across. Okay, down dog, tuck your toes. Hips lift back, bend your knees enough to create a lift in your back. Inhale, plank, legs straight. Exhale, bend your elbows wide enough to keep your shoulders back for low plank. Inhale, cobra. Notice if your inner edge of hand gets light, turn it out enough to flatten it out. And exhale, roll over the knees, adjust your hands so they're straight for down dog. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees and step or walk to the front of your mat. Feet straight, lift halfway up, legs straight, hands on your hips, shoulders back, and stand. Okay, and take a wide stance on your mat. Face the long edge of the mat towards the wall to your left. Reach your arms out and make sure your ankles are underneath your wrists. Okay, that's a good long stance to start with. And then turn your right foot towards the front edge of your mat. Bend your right knee deeply for warrior two. Okay, now you might need to do a little micro adjusting here. Make sure your front knee's over your ankle, your front thigh's parallel with the floor. Okay, for side angle pose, right forearm to your right thigh, left hand on your left hip. Square your hips towards the wall to your left. Okay, keep your hips square towards the wall to your left, even as you reach your left arm by your ear. Okay, especially as you reach your left arm by your ear, because this will be a really nice low back release on the left side so far as you keep those hips square. Okay, come up, hands on your hips. Straighten your right leg, turn your right foot in. Turn your left foot out towards the back edge of your mat. Bend your left knee deeply, warrior two. Okay, and side angle, left forearm to your left thigh. Right hand on your right hip. Yes, look at your hips, square them towards the wall you're facing. Keep them square as you reach your right arm by your ear. Turn your chest towards the ceiling. Okay, just keep that left knee pointing the same direction as your left foot. Get a big side stretch through that right side. And come on up, hands on your hips. Straighten both legs, turn your feet towards the wide edge of your mat. Bow down the middle, touch the floor in front of you. And bend your knees enough to touch. And bend your knees enough to clear your back and hip flexors. That might mean you bend your knees quite a bit. And only so far as you feel release, you can straighten your legs out. So you get really clear on how you feel and you move forward as necessary, honoring that feeling. Okay, lift halfway up, come onto your fingertips. Turn your right, or let's lift halfway up, come hands on your hips. And bend your knees enough to come up to stand. Turn to the front, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bow forward and bend your knees enough to touch. It might mean you bend your knees a lot. That might mean you go wider in your stance to touch. Just keep your feet straight and lift halfway up. Exhale, hands to the floor, plank pose. Step back and lower for a low plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. At every down dog, bend your knees enough to feel release in your back. Right knee forward for pigeon. Right knee all the way to the right edge of your mat. Square your hips. Allow your hips to set back and heavy towards the floor. And stretch all the way back through your back foot. Watch there's no twist or turn in that left foot. Okay, come on up, step back. And switch sides. Left knee wide for pigeon. Square your hips. Come onto your forearms. And allow your hips to set back and towards the floor. And give it a few breaths for your hips to open. You should feel it in the left outer glute and not so much the knee. If you feel in the knee, come out of it. And get even taller if your knee's kind of wonky. Okay, you could make it less weight bearing. You could get a little taller. But if it still hurts the knee, come out of it. Okay, come on up and step back. Down dog. Last plank, come forward. Legs straight for the low plank. Lower your hips for cobra. Point your feet, turn your hands out enough to flatten them out, to set your shoulders back, chest forward. And down dog, stretch it back. And lower down to sit. Swing your legs out in front of you. Lie on your back. Take a breath. Okay, bend your knees. Place your feet, ankles underneath your knees, feet hips width apart. Root your feet down and lift your hips up. Lift your low back up. You can either clasp your hands underneath you or arms alongside you, whichever gives you leverage to walk your shoulders underneath you. So much as your knees don't turn out, lift your hips up high. Okay, lower it down, hands against your thighs. Take a breath. And rest your right shin across your left thigh. For a figure four, you can literally reach down, set the shin across. Flex your right foot, arms out like cactus arms, palms face up. And let both legs fall to the left till your right sole of foot hits the floor. Lift your right toes up off the floor. Angle your right knee towards the ceiling. Look right. Right shoulder roots down. Okay, come on back. Second side, left shin across your right thigh. Flex your left foot. It's okay to reach down and set the foot. Let both legs fall to the right till your left sole of foot hits the floor. And flick your left toes up off the floor. Angle your left knee up. Look left. Root your left shoulder down. Okay, back to center. Bend both knees in. Hold your shins just at your kneecaps. Knees wide enough to cradle your torso. And you could either hold it still or rock and roll, whichever feels better on your back. And rock it up to sit. Stretch your right leg out, bend your left knee in. For Janu Shirsasana, twist to the right, reach your left hand for your right foot, or shin, or thigh, whatever you can get. Okay, so make sure this right leg roots down straight. Use your right hand to tip your weight more on your left hip as you fold over the right leg. That is Louie, my dog. He's outside. Get to him in a moment. He's talking to me. Okay, left leg out, right knee in for Janu Shirsasana. Twist to the left. Reach your right hand for your left foot or shin or leg, whatever you could reach. Okay, most importantly, root this left leg down straight to protect your back. Okay, come on up. Bend both knees in, soles of your feet touch. Knees wide, hands behind you. Okay, go knees apart. Rather than pushing them down, think knees up wide and apart. And they'll start to go down. Inner edges of the feet open up like a book. And lift your back. Right. You can hold your knees, close your legs gently. You made it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, like I said, weight loss is a process, and it's both mental and physical. You need both, and hope this helps you start your journey. And here for you. Come and join me again. My name's Jake. Namaste.